Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. I have a viewer, YouTube user, SMAHN, S-M-A-H-N, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, writing in about the Sony lens lineup. He's talking about some comments I'd made on the reasons I won't personally be buying the Sony a7R Mark II. He says, after hearing your comments about lenses, you're only showing how not updated you are on Sony's lens lineup. In fact, they are the most number of new lens releases this year and since last year, and for the performances, I don't get you suddenly talk about A6000 kit lens. Hey, are you talking of full frame at first place? FE lenses are top notch, and most of them are Zeiss lenses, which will break almost all current records in DxO marks. I respect your choice of Micro Four Thirds system though, but saying 14 to 140 beat a lot of competitors, I don't get it. Olympus system and other Micro Four Thirds systems are their competitors only. Cannot be APS-C or full frame because they are totally different. We'll get into that. For me, Micro Four Thirds photos are just boring and flat looking. They're sharp, no doubt, but not for me. Okay, well that's fine. That's your opinion. So let's get back to the lenses. I'm pretty sure I'm aware of what lenses. I keep abreast of that, and I know they've been introducing a lot, which is good. My problem is that to get into top quality lenses, I'm spending a lot more money than I am in Micro Four Thirds or in Nikon or in Canon, and that's what I was getting at in my earlier videos. For instance, the lens you referenced that I own, the Panasonic 18 to 140, stellar lens, and to get anything similar to that, I don't even think Sony has anything that performs as well as that on their bodies. So and if they do, it'd be a lot of money because I know none of their lower end general walk around cheap zooms do that. So that's my rebuttal to that. That 18 to 140 from Panasonic is a stellar performing lens, very sharp, great micro contrast, detail, acuity, everything's perfect with it. I love it. I'm loving it even more the more and more and more I use it. I got it with the G7 as an add-on to the kit for about $300. So amazing deal. Try and find that in Sony. You can't. They don't have a lens that matches that performance in any price range, I don't believe. I think you need to get into the lenses that don't cover that wide a range, something like maybe the 70 to 200 G series, but then you don't have the full range. So there's my issue there. And it's the same with some of the primes. Try and get a standard zoom that performs well for the price that you can with Nikon, or with Panasonic, or with Canon, or Olympus. Let's see. The other thing that I would throw in there, I'm not sure here, are there Sigma, is their lineup fully in a Sony mount? I'm gonna have to check that out, because if I could get a Sony 17 to 50 OS, the f2.8 from did I just say Sony? A Sigma 17 to 50 f2.8 OS for Sony, then that would make me happy. That would be a nice little kit, say an A6000 or the new 6100. And if they had the Sigma stuff in a mount, I could go all Sigma. I could get the Sigma 8 to 16, the Sigma 17 to 50 OS f2.8, the Sigma 70 to 200, and I could also get the Sigma 50mm f1.4 art lens, which is stellar. So that would make me happy. I use their Sony camera and the Sigma lenses. But I'm not sure. Actually, I think I could be wrong, but as far as I know, they're not all available in a Sony mount. So there's another issue I have. Let's see. It talks about the Zeiss lenses. I don't disagree, but those are very expensive lenses. So I'm looking at, I can get much better performing lenses for less money is my issue mostly. I'm not saying there's no good performing lenses. I'm saying you have to go all the way to Zeiss and to all the fancy stuff that's very, very expensive. I can get a much better system as sharp in my Panasonics. And with my Nikon and with my Canon too. Let's see. I respect your choice of Micro Four Thirds system, but he's talking about I can't compare them. He says Olympus system and other Micro Four Thirds are their competitors. Not so. In the world today, it doesn't matter if you're medium format, or if you are Micro Four Thirds. You're competing for photographers' dollars, whether they're hobbyists, whether they're pros, because there's people shooting all different things and things are changing. So you can't say only Micro Four Thirds only competes with Micro Four Thirds, because it doesn't. It competes with every other system out there that somebody else might spend their money on, because people have left APS-C or full frame systems from Canon and Nikon to go to Micro Four Thirds. They've gone to Sony. They've left Micro Four Thirds because it wasn't right for them and went all the way back to full frame. These things happen, but you could see it's not just Micro Four Thirds to Micro Four Thirds. People have some money in their hand. They've got $2,000-3,000, whatever they got to spend on a system. They may choose Micro Four Thirds over the Sony. So it's not just Micro Four Thirds to Micro Four Thirds. So I disagree with your point there, and that's why. For me, Micro Four Thirds photos are just flat and boring. Well, I could show you a lot. I mean, it's your opinion, but I could show you a lot of photos that I don't think are flat and boring. And then you say they're sharp, no doubt. Well, that's a huge thing for me because I find Micro Four Thirds, one of their strongest points is that their focus accuracy is always boom, bang on. My G7 hits it. When it hits it, every time practically. Way more than any other system I've ever shot with are my photos sharp. Is my percentage of photos that are sharp and keepers. And I love my G7 for that. I love the Panasonic system for that. So, there's kind of my rebuttal to you on that. And what do you guys think? Do you agree with where I'm going with that? Do you agree more with SMA N? Leave some comments below. Let's have the discussion. We can continue to discuss it. I guess the question here is, do you think the Sony lens lineup is adequate that you see decent lenses that you can buy for a good price that you feel are competitive? Because I don't. And I think the other example I think I missed there, what we were talking about, was the kit lens. The kit lens on the A6000 is terrible. It's okay just for a general lens in the sense of if you don't really care about how it performs, it'll take some pictures. But if you start really looking at it, corners, if you're looking at the actual full sharp, and I think probably in the center it's pretty sharp. But compare it to a comparable lens on the Panasonic system, compare it to a comparable lens on the Nikon or Canon system, and those lenses smoke that Sony A6000 kit lens right across the board. So, anyways, leave some comments below. We can continue to discuss this. Thanks for tuning in, folks.